Let's get into it.
All right, let's talk about this.
Wait, Mark, you got a
roll the
special
music.
new thing. We got a new one for you.
Well, he's got a new song.
Ladies and gentlemen, Movies with Mark.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
That's really important. It makes it feel important.
Yeah, you like that one?
Yeah, that's big. That's like Star Wars. That we better know what we're talking about. And
Right?
it's great to not have somebody sitting on the turntable and slowing it down like that last one was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Nice.
Great job, Molly.
And the graphic is good. I feel like I'm in a graphic novel now. It's with all those colors. And I'll have to be really entertaining. We'll all
that was our marketing partner, Eric. He did that.
Oh, yeah? It's a great movie, though. Raging Bull is the movie we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and germs, as they say in the comedy world.
Oh, they don't say that for the last 50 years there.
Really? That's the last time I laughed was 50 years
I think Henny Youngman may have been the last one to use
the last one.
Ladies and germs.
I
Please,
like
you get booed out of the place. Right.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
Raging Bull, directed by Martin Scorsese, starring Robert De Niro in a role that I didn't even look it up. Did he win an Academy Award for it? Was he nominated?
Definitely nominated. I'm not sure if he won for Raging Bull. It's a good possibility.
I don't know who else could have won that year.
I think, what was it, 80 or 81?
Best actor in a leading role won Robert De Niro, and best film editing, Thelma Schoonmaker.
Right. She edits all of our Marty's stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, and so De Niro did win.
Yep, it was nominated for Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Director, Cinematography, and Sound.
Oh, Best Actress, too.
Yep.
Cathy Moriarty?
Cathy Moriarty, who was 18 when they discovered her and put her in that part. She was great.
So sexy. So sexy.
Sexy in a totally unself-conscious way.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So 18, not 14?
Huh?
Well, definitely not 14. Yeah.
She was definitely not 14.
But didn't they say she was 14? Her character?
15 when they met. 14 was the girl he got arrested for.
Yep.
14 was the girl. Yeah, but she was 15, I think, when he first sees her at the pool.
Yeah.
It's unclear whether he married her or first. He asked her out, I guess, when she was 15. So, yeah, he liked young girls.
The youngsters probably don't remember, but Mark, I'm sure you probably remember the real Vicky LaMotta's Playboy spread when she was in her 50s, right? She had to be 50 when she did that. Beautiful woman. She posed in Playboy when she was 50.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't pay that much attention to Playboy. I was reading National Geographic.
He was at the mansion. Why would he read?
He was actually at the mansion.
I didn't need to read the magazine. I was at the mansion.
They were making it around me.
Right. Yeah,
I was in the grotto.
What?
Oh, you were in the grotto.
Yeah, I was swimming in the grotto in my Speedo.
Did you actually go to the Playboy at all?
What?
Had you been to the Playboy Mansion?
No, I drove by it once.
My son went. My oldest boy, they donated some money. It had to be about, 15 years ago, and they got to go to a party at the Playboy Mansion. So he had plenty of pictures that he took.
He donated some money to Hugh
him
Hefner.
Friends. It was
Did Hugh Hefner have a GoFundMe page or
No, I think it was some type of charity that they were sponsoring. And if you gave a certain amount, you could go to the Playboy Mansion. So they did it.
Okay.
I don't remember what it was. It wasn't for Hugh. It was for some charity that they were promoting.
Yeah, but they had the corporate event at the Playboy Mansion. They didn't have the actual mansion.
I tell you what, from some of those pictures, whew, I don't know what was going on there. And they were kind of dressed up too, but like some of those girls weren't too dressed up. They were dressed down quite a bit.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting that we go to the Playboy Mansion after watching this movie, because and I may be self-conscious about it, right, at this point in time in the history of the universe, but the misogyny in this movie
Oh my
is
God.
overwhelming.
I wanted to ask that as a question. Was this meant to be so cringeworthy, or was that meant to be romantic in 1980?
No, I don't. Oh boy, that's a good question. I can't tell. There are times in the movie when I think, like when his first date with her.
Oh,
When he
sit over
takes her,
here. Why don't you
when he
get a little
takes her,
closer?
sit over here, and then I want to show you my apartment, my house, and yeah, there's the bird, it's dead, and this is the dining room, and oh, this is the bedroom. Sit over here, and
Right.
he's so precise about putting his arm around her and all of that whole scene that I think, all right, he's informing us about how brutal, and I think it
And
is kind of
manipulative.
brutal, and how what? What'd you say?
Manipulative.
How manipulative and just yeah, how horrible it is in that environment in 57, I think it was, whenever they met.
47, I think.
47.
Yeah, that was early. It went like 45 to 58 or something, I think was the time.
Yeah.
And there's a good deal of pride. Still places in this country, in Tennessee, where they ban books like Mouse, where you go to the bar and you talk about how you beat up your wife, and that makes you one of the guys. And that Italian. So I think there is a consciousness of this. We're talking about this particular Italian New York sense of manhood and maleness, and that's what it means. So he is articulating it, yet at the same time, he's really digging the shit out of it. I mean, Scorsese. I mean, he's kind of liking it, and it's in all of his movies.
My
And
skin
I
was
don't-
crawling during that date scene. Like, I
Oh.
think this is they thought it was sexy back then.
No, not in 1980, but in the 40s, that's how a lot of things went down. It was a different kind of time. And no one's saying that it's right, and it is hard to watch, I'm sure, but that's it wasn't romantic in the 80s. I can tell you that wasn't romance. But there was a lot of screwed up stuff, but I know people like that. I grew up around people like that.
Yeah.
In Brooklyn. I mean, I'm going to kill your dog, Larry. I mean, I heard that kind of stuff,
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, the stereotypes of Italian people yelling out the window at each other.
I love
Yeah.
the scene with the steak, with the first wife, when he's like, don't overcook it. It defeats its own purpose. Bring it over here. Bring it over here. It's like, I lived that. I mean, I lived in a house where that kind of stuff went on.
Well, both Scorsese and De Niro did too. I mean, they grew up on the streets of Manhattan and down in the Little Italy. I mean, I think just a couple of blocks from each other. I don't think they knew each other, but they grew up, and Pesci did too. I mean, that's what they know. That's where they come from. And
that was hard for me to watch.
I'm going, come on, don't. All Italians aren't like this, Tom. Don't think it. It's just that one family. It's not everybody.
It was hard for me to watch. Yeah.
It was hard for me to watch. I don't know that it was hard for me to watch in 1980 when I first saw it, because of the same things. I mean, the times they are changing. The times have changed, and they're continuing to change. So I think we perceive that kind of male-female dynamic relationship differently now than we perceived it in 1980, differently than we perceived it in when Jake LaMotta was doing it, when the answer to all of your problems was to slug the girl, hit her. So
well, not only that too, the relationship with his brother, who had his back all the time, to betray him in that regard, that was heartbreaking. How could you do that to your brother? How could you like first off, he's nuts. I mean, his jealousy was out of control. And I mean, like, everybody had to suffer around that stuff where he just had stuff in his mind. But I know, look, my in-laws are Italian. They get things in their head that's nothing's even close to the truth, but to them it's 100% real.
Right.
Well, I think some of that might have come with the mentality that you probably get being a boxer in that line of work, especially at that time, maybe.
I don't
with
know.
the
Yeah,
fame
I
and the
don't know about
fame
that.
and the paranoia and the. I mean, because he was
CTE
going out
setting
doing
in.
that kind of. I don't
You
know.
mean do you think from the damage you
Maybe.
you take as a boxer?
Well,
Yeah,
I think
Well, and plus,
certainly I think it accumulates by the end of his life. I mean, you look at his face and you look at what he's gone through and what he can put himself through when he's banging his head against the cell wall and hitting his hands. I mean, he doesn't know how to live if he's not in pain. So he
Yeah.
creates his own pain, and you create your own pain by this sort of mad jealousy. But I want to talk about the kind of man that Jake LaMotta is. Raging Bull, for people who don't know, if there's any of the 4 people who are listening to this, is about a boxer named Jake LaMotta, true story, based on a true story, based on his life. And he was the world champion middleweight boxer for a couple of years. Fought Sugar Ray Robinson, who is a very well known and very famous and almost considered an artist as a boxer. Fought him what, 5 or 6 times?
5 times, yeah.
5 times.
you never
anyway.
got me down, Ray.
Yeah, that's right. The
Never
last
got
time,
me down.
his eyes he can barely see. You never knocked me down. I never went down. I never went down, Ray. That's a point of pride. So a character like Jake LaMotta, who is insanely jealous, as he calls himself, he's stupid. Why me? He just goes in the wrong direction every time he has a chance to go in any direction. With his brother, the way he uses his brother, the way he instantly accuses his brother of sleeping with his wife, the way he accuses everybody, the paranoia, the ego, the narcissism, and the whole opening section when he's old and fat and performing in nightclubs, which also ends the movie. He still can't take his eyes off of himself in the mirror. When he talks in the early scene about my hands are small, and he's sad because it means he'll never be a heavyweight. But I kept thinking of Donald Trump, who made small hands sort of a joke, and who made narcissism a common something that we all begin to understand and take seriously, because he's so obviously a narcissist. And the way De Niro plays LaMotta, he can't take his eyes off himself in the mirror. I mean, that narcissism is so. Go ahead.
Oh, I was thinking physics, like back to my physics class, going, the amount of pressure on a smaller point creates greater force. So you almost want to have smaller hands. And this guy thinks it's a bad thing. And it's like, no, if you're putting, if I poke you with a needle, it's going through your skin because of the force, just real lightly. But if I poke you with my hand open, it's not going in. So I was thinking maybe small hands are helping him. And he doesn't even know that.
I think it has to do with this size, the weight of the gloves that you have to wear as a heavyweight, as opposed to the weight of the gloves that you wear. It's a 16-ounce glove as a heavyweight, and I think it's a smaller glove as a middleweight. Okay. And it's just a question of how well your hands can carry those 16-ounce gloves. I mean, that's a pound in each hand. To protect your hand, but so I think that's what he's talking about. That's why he'll never be a heavyweight. I mean, he's a little guy anyway. Yeah. I mean, that's the problem with his hands. But it's an interesting point, sure. I mean, if you're doing karate barehanded, you can just at the point of your fingers or your thumb, you can get so much pressure behind the thumb, jabbing it into a guy's eye or his throat or wherever you want to. Yeah. Solar plexus, all those kill spots that we learn when we work for the Mossad in Israel. Nice. I wasn't supposed to say that. Sorry.
Krav Maga.
That's right, Krav Maga.
Best soldiers in the world. Israeli commandos. Best fighting soldiers in the world, in my opinion.
It's an interesting thing to rate as best. The people who can kill better are the better people. Yeah, that's again back to.
I'm a veteran, Army,
I know. Killing is your business. I know. And
a comedian.
You miss it, don't you, William? You miss
I like
having
to
that
kill
gun
on stage. I do my killing on stage.
Yep.
but we do in this country and in popular culture, and Raging Bull has to be popular culture because it's in the movies. We do celebrate these real monster people. I mean, I think Jake LaMotta qualifies as a monster. I don't know if he's evil, but it's a monster. Is there you have sympathy, William, you said, for his brother?
Oh yeah.
And for how he betrays his brother. I understand too. I mean, it's that scene when he follows him down the block and won't let him get in his car and hugs him, and you know, it's like a big bear trying to suffocate him almost. And Pesci takes it. Is there ever a point where you feel sympathy for Jake LaMotta?
No. Yeah. When he was crying after he took that dive, and they were all crying back there.
Yeah.
I did then because he got
I buy the guy who's in his corner, whose name I can't remember. He's a wonderful actor.
Yeah, the guy that was smacking him, like, what the hell's the matter with you?
Yeah.
And then people tried to come in.
I buy his tears much more than LaMotta's tears. I mean, and I think Scorsese does too. I don't, because the way he shoots it, all we see of De Niro's weeping is him sort of crying over and over the same note, same thing. There's no variation. It doesn't come on him. It doesn't. It's very
one note.
It's very one note, but it's also very much performed. And I want to talk about that in terms of this movie too, how it's about performance. I mean, that's entertainment. That's what LaMotta does when he's doing his club act. Mm-hmm. As though you get the feeling that his whole life has been entertainment. Even you know, why does he stand there and take a beating from Sugar Ray in the fifth fight until his eyes are closed?
It's pride.
Why does he? Pride?
That goes back to the punch me with my brother. I don't know what else to do. I need to be in pain. I can't win this fight now, so he ain't gonna knock me down. I'm gonna try to do the one. I'm gonna grab onto this one little straw, and no one's gonna take it from me. He Didn't knock me down.
He never knocked me down. And that great shot of the rope with blood dripping from it, because that's what he kept putting it. The rope will hold him up even when his legs can't.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird. Everybody calls him a sick fuck all through the movie.
So what did he have to take the dive so he would get a shot at the title?
It seemed like the mob was involved.
Yeah, well, of course. Do you know who the mob guy was? Did you recognize him?
Coach.
Yeah, these kids probably don't know who Coach was.
No,
before Woody on Cheers, there was Coach.
Oh yeah.
That was the mob guy.
I like Coach.
And then also the guy Charlie was Marty Scorsese's dad, who was also in Goodfellas. You know, the guy that was with the main mobster guy.
Wait a minute.
The bald guy, Charlie. He was always with Coach. Yeah, that was Marty's dad.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, okay.
The mom and the dad would be in a bunch of. I was shocked I didn't see the mom in the movie.
I didn't see the mom. His mom's usually in his movies, but he puts them both in. Yeah, she's great.
I love her.
Yeah, usually cooking something.
Well, you know something I noticed too, like the opening scene, like they're just playing this dramatic music, and you just see the smoky. It's black and white. And it just kind of almost took you there. I mean, just... You mean
under the credits when he's in the ring?
Yeah, when he's in the ring. And it's just like...
beautiful.
And there were a bunch of different scenes, like when Joe Pesci was beating the hell out of that guy. They turned the sound off and then just started playing this music. And it was like... And then they would cut back to the sound. And he's banging the guy's head. You know, and let me tell you something. That's another thing. That's a brother that has your back. You're out of town. And he sees your woman come in there with these assholes, and he goes over and he talks to her nice, and then she's gonna try to say, "Nah, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna stay out. I'm gonna have a drink." And then he grabbed her, and then it started getting real nasty. But I mean, that's a brother that's got your back, and then you turn around and you beat him like that.
Yeah.
Look, let me tell you something.
In front of his kids.
In front of his kids. That's the thing. I don't understand why he allowed him to hug him. The same thing with Cathy Moriarty. He did the same thing. She was packing her bags, and then he went over there and he hugged her, and then she just kind of like relented. It's like, get the hell away from that guy. It's not going to end well.
Yeah, no, and she
loved him.
takes her until he's an old fat guy hanging out with 14-year-old girls running a club. Excuse me. Before she finally walks away from it, gets a lawyer and leaves it.
Well, she's been with him since she was 15. That's all she's, known.
That's all she's known. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's all she's known, and that's what women are told to do. You take a beating and you go cook breakfast.
I think she knew a little more. She was running with a pretty fast crowd, even when she was 15, because the mobsters all knew her.
Oh, all the boys at the pool knew her, and all the mobsters
boys.
knew her. Yeah, they all wanted a piece of her. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, wanted to possess that.
She didn't seem fearful of him, though. Like when he would question her and give it a third degree, she would just answer. It didn't seem like she was afraid of him, and I was like, "This is a tough cookie." Yeah. And and then when he hit her, it's like you gotta get out of there, man. That was a horrible scene to watch.
Yeah, no, it is. It's horrible when he goes completely full on monster, and goes and beats his brother up, hits her, and he's going to hit her. He tries not to. A couple of times he wants to, and he tries not to, and then he finally hits her and knocks her down, and she's just out.
Yeah,
I mean, the guy's hands,
they're small.
He
they're
beats people
small
for a living.
Yeah, but they're small.
That's right.
That's worse.
For beating up ladies.
Hey,
dainty.
Another thing. Talk about what the culture was like in this part of New York, in this part of the world, in this part of the male-dominated. How many times does somebody call somebody a faggot in this movie?
Oh my God! The wife was calling him a faggot with his brother.
Yeah. I mean, that's the worst insult you can call somebody. I mean, that's, for Italians, yeah. And for men, yeah, at this time, I guess. But it's weird to see and to listen.
I know, we've come a long way since then. I mean, in the 80s, watching that, you don't think twice about it because everybody even would send it to one another, to your friends. But it's not thrown around so much anymore. So I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. Oh no. The times they are changing, and sometimes they're changing for the best, for better. Anyway.
At least it's been a short amount of time since it's gotten way better, where you can't even watch that and it's cringy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's less than a generation ago. So.
Oh yeah,
that's moving pretty quick.
It offended your little nice Midwest boy sensibilities, I'm sure. Did you have Molly? Molly, hold me. I'm frightened.
No, I was enjoying the movie, and then I got to see Al Pacino beat up a woman for 90 minutes. And
you mean De Niro? Pacino wasn't in them.
Yeah, De Niro. That's what I meant.
But if you step back and just watch it as a movie, as a piece of cinematic art, it really is phenomenal. From the credit sequence when he's in the ring, and it's black, and you just see this row of faces dimly lit, and the ring, and he comes towards the camera, goes back. There's one flash bulb goes out way up there and that almost holy music. I mean, it's grand music, but it isn't like Star Wars music, like our theme song, our new theme song is. It's almost religious.
Right.
And the Catholicism that's all through it and through everything. I mean, at the end, who does Scorsese quote in the text that we see on the screen right before the credits?
Yeah, it was Leviticus or something from the Bible.
Yeah, something from the Bible. I mean, he goes right back to it about a blind man.
Yep.
Who comes before, and Jesus had made him. I was blind and now I can see.
Right.
Because Jesus. Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know whoever he is. All I know is I can see now.
Yeah. But not Jake LaMotta. He was never able to see.
That guy lived to be 95 years of age. He just died in 2017. He outlived Vicky LaMotta.
Wow. The beating he took.
But he lasted a long time. 95. That's unusual for a boxer.
Yeah, we'd think so. But how many times did people say he's got a head of concrete? He's got a head of stone.
It's because he wouldn't go over with the mobsters.
Yeah,
he wouldn't go down, man. Like,
He
dude,
wouldn't
you're
go down.
supposed
He
to die
wouldn't
at
play.
80. You're
He wanted to
95.
do it on his own. He didn't want to do it with the mobsters. So we take pride in him because of that, because he makes that decision.
Yeah.
But the kind of man he is, I mean, we don't, we celebrated that at one point. I don't think we did in 1980. I don't think this movie is celebrating Jake LaMotta's concept of manhood. But we did celebrate it. I mean, we did celebrate that kind of brutality, that kind of, I don't know. It's a hard movie to watch, but it's brilliant, brilliantly executed. I mean, just the every frame, there's not a, I don't think there's a wasted shot. There's one or two places where I wonder what Scorsese meant. In just a quick shot here of something and then cut back. He cuts. I mean, he really loves to cut. He loves to edit. He edits the music. And when you talked about the music before, if you sit through the end of the movie and look at the music credits, there's all kinds of music in there that I didn't even necessarily hear or know I was hearing. I heard it, but I don't think I knew I was hearing it. But it's just a wonderful, eclectic, and broad-ranging. I mean, Scorsese's knowledge of music and understanding of film as music, or as it works on us as music, in terms of the editing of it, the visual changes, and the auditory changes, what we hear is phenomenal. I mean, there's no doubt for a minute watching this film that he isn't a master filmmaker technically, and everything he makes is brilliant technically. But I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to spend that much time with him, because again and again and again, right up to The Irishman, the 5-hour movie or however long it was that he made a couple of years ago. Did you guys see that?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
I did make a note
It
in
was
here.
hard.
It's hard. Again, it's hard to watch. They're hard people to sit in a room with for a long time, and I don't think it's a shortcoming to feel like you should leave. I mean, like you said about Cathy Moriarty's character, the wife. Why didn't she leave right away? Why did she wait? How many years? 25 years. How long was she with him?
It was 15.
I don't
She was
know.
15. She didn't know anybody. She didn't have
What
any
did you write
friends.
down?
Oh, just that in The Irishman, it was fun. That's the last time I saw Robert De Niro fight.
Yeah.
But they CGI'd him young, but he still had the old guy walk and kick to him, so it looked really weird. So it was kind of nice seeing him not fighting as an old guy.
He does that same stomping scene in every movie, and then like in some where he's younger and he's stomping them. But yeah, it was kind of in the latest one, it was an old man trying to stomp somebody.
Yeah, there's a couple of good stories about the making of that, because they were, they had those dots on them because they were going to go back in CGI them and make them younger.
Yeah.
And one story that Pacino tells about, they shot, 15 takes or something like that, and the cameraman finally went to Scorsese and said, he's still, when he stands up, he looks like a 60-year-old man, and he's supposed to be a young guy.
Because he is.
Yeah, because he is a 60-year-old man. And it's interesting, De Niro, when he's doing
70-year-old man, really.
Yeah.
So it was a weird disconnect with that film.
I enjoyed it. I still like it.
It was
it's
cool
great
seeing
to
the
watch.
CGI.
I thought that Pacino was great too.
Oh, The Irishman?
The Irishman. I enjoyed it. I had to watch it until I got tired. I watched the rest of it the second night. It's a long movie.
It's a long movie to watch, yeah. I mean, it
Scorsese
moves right along. I watched it twice from beginning to end in one sitting, just to see if I could, and it works. He's a great filmmaker. He takes you in nice and easy, like that whole opening credit sequence of this, and then right into the to these sort of intimate scenes of young men at the pool, cruising girls, and trying to have a good time, trying to get a date. He walks you right in and makes you, takes your arm, come here, come on, we're going to tell you this story. and then he kind of brutalizes you later on. And he
That's
does
what
it,
it-
and he
yeah.
does it all the time. The same themes in The Irishman that are there in Goodfellas, in same relationships in Goodfellas, in Raging Bull, in Taxi Driver, in everything. The commodification of women, with Jodie Foster's character in Taxi Driver. Women are barely existent in The Irishman, except as mothers and long-suffering wives, if I remember correctly. It's interesting that the themes that artists, people that we consider great artists in our culture, keep coming back to. I mean, it says something about them. Something. I don't know what it says, but it says something about them. But
Well, I also think Little Italy, you know, the Italians in that era, in that time, I think it was pretty accurate.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
You know?
oh yeah,
And
no,
that's what he knew growing up. I mean, that was his life.
yeah,
He
no,
tells a great story. He really does.
yeah, he tells great stories, and he has wonderful actors. I mean, his partnership with De Niro over the years. How many movies have they made together? I think
Quite a
is it
few.
9? I just wrote this as a trivia question. I think it's 9.
Wow.
9 features and 1 short. A lot. But I mean, it's a great partnership, and you want to talk about. Let's talk about performance. What is it that makes a great performance? And I don't mean, I mean each of you individually, because I've been thinking about this past week, or these past 2 weeks, when watching endless Netflix and endless movies on and TV series and television, and I keep saying, is this acting? I can't do this, what these people are doing. I never could do this. I never wanted to do this. Is this acting? Is this good acting? What's good acting? What makes a really great performance? I mean, I respond to De Niro's performance in this because it completely surprises me every second. It seems completely natural, completely believable, even when it's performing, even when I can see the makeup, even when I say, so how did he gain 50 pounds? How did they make
He
him?
actually put that weight on.
He
It's
puts that weight on.
authenticity. I think that's the number one thing, that it seems authentic. Even
Yeah.
if you know that they're acting, if you believe it.
Right. Even
How
when they're performing the way he performs, the way we talked about, he's sort of performing how a boy seduces a girl, a 15-year-old girl, in his apartment. You sit over here. I mean, it's so laid out. It feels like a performance rather than reality. But even when he's doing that, it's authentic.
Yeah, I was going to say how easy you can. He sucks you into or she sucks you in, and you can put yourself in that perspective. And that's why it was so cringeworthy for me, going, "Ooh, I don't like." I put myself as him, and it's
You
like,
see
I don't
yourself,
like.
yeah.
I don't like these vibes aren't matching up here. I don't like this.
No, because you're not a wife beater. I understand.
I know that's why
that.
it was
Yeah.
like cringy.
Well, why couldn't you be Joe Pesci?
I didn't want to get beat up by my big brother again, like I did my
Again!
whole life.
Oh,
My brother's 14 years
Joe
older than me.
Pesci wasn't any better. I mean, he's still, he said, let's go out together tonight. Take your wife out. No, but don't tell Lenore, because I got another girl I want to see. I mean, he's not a good guy.
No, I
he was
agree.
commiserating and agreeing with all of his choices. Yeah, I had to beat. Yeah, you did have to beat her. Like,
Yeah, that's right. Of course.
Or when he told her, get the baby and go over there. And then the other girl said something, his wife, and he treats her the same way. Like, take the kid and get out of here. It's like, come on, man. I mean, like, I guess it's the way Italians were back in that day, but that's not good. That's not a good way to treat your wife, the mother of your children. You should talk to them respectfully.
But it's unapologetic too. I mean,
Right.
a lot of people have talked to me about Animal House and what I feel about Animal House versus like what's the Will Ferrell movie, Old
School.
School. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And all the descendants of Animal House. And the thing that I keep coming back to is that Animal House doesn't apologize for anything. It just does it. It takes it to a certain point, takes it a little bit further so that it's funny, but it never says, but we're just kidding. We're not really like this. And this movie never does either. And Scorsese never does. He never apologizes for any of that horrendous behavior, what we now think of and did think of. Even then, we thought of it as horrendous behavior. I mean, my father, I don't know, but I don't believe my father ever hit my mother. He wasn't Italian. He was a white kid from the Midwest. He was he was educated as an engineer, but he seemed to be, me as a kid, to be angry all the time. I was scared of him, but I don't think he ever. I don't remember him ever yelling at my mother or fighting with her. So all men didn't do it. There's only those filthy Italians.
Well, there's some
wops.
good Italians too. There's some good Italians. Come on.
Yeah, and they make good food.
Yeah, who Mozart maybe? No, Mozart was he was Austrian.
They make good food.
Austrian,
Just give
yeah.
me some Italian food.
Nah, there's some good Italians. There's some good
Oh,
Italians. There
pasta.
are.
The food's good.
Oh, the food's great. It's the best.
Yeah.
Festa
No,
is
there
one
are.
of my
I was kidding.
favorite. Yeah.
What
Festa
is?
the best? Festa Italiana.
Festa
down at the
Italiana?
lakefront.
Oh, is that down in Milwaukee? You mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Louis
Yeah.
Get some arancini balls.
the arancini balls.
Yeah.
Louis Prima's Sam, the saxophone player, before he died, he did it one year down there. And I also saw Louis Prima's daughter. I'm a big Louis Prima fan, Louisiana, New
Have
Orleans.
you seen The Big Night? The movie The Big Night?
Of course.
Oh, good.
That's a great movie. That's one of my favorite movies. Yeah.
That's
a good movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was just on cable. I just watched it
Was
again.
it really?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's all about getting Louis Prima, right, to come up to
Right.
this little Italian restaurant.
And
Yeah.
Stanley Tucci and Green Bay's own Tony Shalhoub.
I love
they played
Stanley
brothers.
Tucci.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tucci's
You
great
should
in
see The
that.
Big Night. If you haven't seen it, you
I
should look
haven't
at it.
seen it. I'm gonna look it up.
It's
Get
a
it
really,
ready.
it's a great movie. It's a great food movie too.
Yes, it
Because
is.
we did the homework and watched Don't Look Up the other week.
Oh,
or
you
the other
did.
night.
So
Yep,
good.
we
So
did your
tell me
homework.
what you think. Let's
About Don't
switch
Look Up?
gears about Don't Look Up. Yeah.
I think they did it so great that no matter what side of the aisle, you could put your other side of the aisle in any position you wanted in that movie. They made fun of everything. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it is. They
To a
do.
scary
I
degree.
think they punched both sides
Yeah.
pretty well on that.
Yeah. I
Which
think
is-
I think they try too hard sometimes, but it works. I mean, it's a really, I don't know that it's a great movie.
I just you could
But
take Meryl Streep's character and you could make her left wing or right wing. She was doing stuff that both sides yell at each other for. So it was like
Which character?
Meryl
Meryl
Streep.
Streep, the
Oh,
president.
Meryl Streep.
You
President.
could say
Yeah.
she's a Democrat or you could say she's a Republican, but she did the things stereotypical that, talking points that each side fights about. It's like, well, they're really not picking a side. They're saying, whatever you believe, this movie will fit right in. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So I like
I
that.
always
I'm like,
love
okay.
Meryl. Anything with her
Yeah,
in it,
no,
I want to
she's
watch.
great.
She's-
But so she really gives the greatest sort of performance in it, I think, just because she's so different than you've ever seen her before. And a lot of she's I
Well,
mean, you can understand how she might be president, but she's also just sort of so flousy or blousy or whatever the right Z ending ZY word is.
Yeah.
She's just
They go after the media. They go after everything. It's great.
All
yeah.
right. Let's get back on track.
Oh, my-
because
okay.
I'm going to
Yep,
have to
Will's
give
gotta-
mine because I'm not going to be able to hang around.
Oh,
much
because you have to
longer.
go, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's begin to rate. We can. Yeah, it's time. We can do that.
Yeah.
I'll
William,
go
you want to
first.
start?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I give it a 5 stars. It is a hard to watch movie. I enjoy it. I called my son and I asked him. I said, "Do you remember me sitting you guys down and having you watch it with me?" And he goes, "Yeah." And back then, I didn't care much about it because it was in black and white, and I just wasn't interested in it. And he said, "I watched it about a year ago," and he said it was brilliant. But
Oh,
again,
good.
he said it was hard to watch as well because of, like, I do know people like that. I grew up around people like that. People need to come to their senses. I have a good friend of mine that was exactly like that. And then he would get abusive with these girls and then come and beg me to ask them to come back to him. And I would say no, because if you hurt that girl, I'm going to blame myself. And I mean, it just happened time and time again. And, I don't want to get into personal, but like he got married and they had a son and they were married for 30 years. They adopted twins and then they split up. And I didn't know he had been beating her all this time too. And she told me she put up with it. And New Year's Eve, he took a gun and shot himself in the heart.
Did he really?
Yes, he did.
Wow.
So he's gone. But I mean,
Right.
it kind of made me think because he was exactly like that. He was
Right.
exactly like that. He would take on 5 guys.
Right.
And it's like, like I said, I knew people like that. So I don't like that part of it. I don't like being around that kind of stuff. But the movie itself, it was amazing. It really was. And like you said, beautifully shot. The music, it's just a
Music's good.
masterpiece.
Every element of its cinematicness is really excellent. Black and white, as you say, we didn't mention that, but it is black and white at a time when people weren't making a lot of black and white movies.
Yeah.
Anymore. Everything was color. And but it sort of needs to be black and white. I don't know what that movie would be like if it was in color.
It needed
wouldn't
to be black and white.
Yeah, it was great.
It wouldn't be relentless the way it is if it wasn't in black and white. And it's beautiful black and white.
Even beautiful gore in black and white. Some of
Beautiful
the blood
what? Oh
gore,
yeah.
some of the
Yeah.
gory.
Yeah, I don't know how
They-
they did that, where they would split their face open and you would see the blood come out. Like,
That was
that's
a little-
amazing.
Yeah, that was a little. I don't know that it happens that way, that it spurts that far out. That was a little bit like a splatter movie. These
Yeah, I like that.
blood porn.
Well, I
I
know
was
it
off-
gets
It was a little Mel Gibson-y, like
Yeah.
Passion of the Christ. It's like that
Yeah.
he's definitely got some sadistic tendencies.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's so much
Yeah.
more artistic when you can do it in the black and white like that, and you could get all those artistic shots and the.
Where you can black
certainly-
out just a little bit of the crowd, but then have so much white light coming in to really focus on the boxer. That was cool, and the smoke coming, and
Yeah, the
just- it
smoke.
was brilliant.
Like you said, black and white, it wouldn't have been the same movie if it wasn't black and white.
If it was in,
Did
yeah,
they
right.
mix? Did they
What?
mix in any? Did they
No
mix
color.
in any actual footage, or was it all just
No.
stuff that they shot to make it look like? Okay,
I'm pretty sure
some of it
it's
was
all,
like TV footage. I didn't know. Some of it was harder to
I'm
see.
pretty
it, but I
sure
wasn't
it's
sure.
all. I'm pretty sure it's all made by them,
Okay.
but I could be wrong. I'd have to go back and look at it again. There is some newsreel footage here and there
No.
that may be actual newsreel footage, but I don't think so. It doesn't. I mean, I don't
I'm just
think so.
curious.
I think he shot it all himself. All right, let's move around counterclockwise. Tom.
All right. I was pretty cringed out, and I wasn't going to give it a score, but after talking about it, I am going to give this movie a 5. And when I go see my niece Haley, who's starting to turn into a teenager right now, I'm going to make her watch this movie with me as a learning experience. If you meet any guy that does any of these behaviors,
Red flag.
this is the future. You need to, maybe it's a good thing we're making so many movies about what different types of assholes there are, so the girls can learn it without having to live it.
As long as there's a big arrow that says asshole, 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 and not hero, hero, hero.
Yeah.
Right.
If you see a guy who just questions, gets something stuck in his mind that nothing happens, it's going to end up with you on the ground. So
Right. The only,
Yeah.
I think that's great that you should get her to watch it. But when you said, I'm going to make her watch it,
Yeah.
Tie her down.
this image of
You're
you
already
tying her up to a
closer.
chair.
closer
might
to
be-
me, sit closer.
You're already starting off with a bad note.
Right.
I'm going to make her watch it.
No, this
I'm going to
is
twist her
medicine.
arm. I'm
And
gonna
if she
tie
don't
her
watch it,
down.
I'm going to beat her one.
Yeah, I'm on.
I'll give you one of these. No.
You only need one eye to watch it now. Sit down.
You don't need any hands or feet.
All right, Molly, what's your assessment? This is another thing that Molly doesn't do nearly as well as Robert De Niro, but all the rest of the three of us, the men, excuse me, just talk. Somebody asks us a question and we talk. But Molly, every time you ask Molly a question or it comes to this point, it's always like she thinks for a while. She thinks a lot. And De Niro, more than any actor I think I've ever seen, they just shoot his face and shoot him thinking, staring at somebody or staring at concrete, just thinking. And it's always alive. He's never just waiting for the camera to stop. He's always
He's always
alive.
got like a little head bob or something.
A little bit, and the eyes dart around. He's got little
the
beady
eyes
little
dart
eyes.
around, yeah.
Dart around a little bit, but he's just still. And not very many actors can do that. Pacino has said that he's not very good at it. That he's, it's something he had to really learn and work at, and not very many actors can. And stillness is a hard thing to come by. Anyway, Molly, who is the master of stillness.
Oh my gosh, I take too long thinking all the time.
That's all right. No, go ahead. You've got time. We've got plenty to do.
Well, I struggle with this one a lot because it was very, very difficult for me to watch. And I get
had you not seen it before?
No.
Yeah, okay.
I get that it was filmed beautifully. I mean, the artistic choice of filming it in black and white and some of the shots, that they captured in there and the way that they mixed the music and like William said, with those scenes that were like silenced and then all of a sudden the sound comes back, and it was very like it was beautiful. But I think 3 is as high as I can go because
you what?
I think a 3 is as high as I can go on that one.
Oh wow!
It was so difficult to watch for me, and I just I was very uncomfortable. It was such a I fell asleep during part of it too.
Oh,
Tom had to wake me up.
Oh,
hey, he had to beat me to wake me up.
Oh, here we go. That's it. It was nothing to her. She's used to getting beat on. Tom.
Yeah,
that's why she's so quick. She's gonna think about what she says.
He just tapped me on the shoulder. Like, hey,
this went the wrong way. I thought I could at least say, "See, she doesn't explain everything to me." I thought we were going with that. Instead, it went to me beating her awake.
Goodness.
It may be because I've seen it 3 or 4 times, but there are places in it where I want it to move along, where I didn't fall asleep, and I don't think I could fall asleep. But there are times where I think, I just saw this scene. I just saw this scene. I just saw this scene.
You mean the boxing part?
I think they were rolling a ton of montages about boxing, I think, at the time, and I fell asleep.
The montages, but I think Scorsese does the montages about boxing very well. They're longer at the beginning. You see more boxing, and then you just see a shot of De Niro, when he's fighting every 3 weeks.
Well, you just see the match, like the date, time, and who he's fighting, and then like a little clip, and then it goes.
But what I mean is more that I know what the relationship between the 2 brothers is. Okay, I know what the relationship between Scorsese and Moriarty's character, or De Niro and I don't need to see that again. Maybe I do need to see it so that it really viscerally affects me, but because I've seen it several times, I know. But when I really start to fall in love with the movie again is at the end, after LaMotta's given up boxing and he's this new and nearly unrecognizable fat man with a puffy face and a 12 times broken nose, and he's in his club and stuff like that. I start to fall back into the movie and really love it again, because that's a new thing, and that's a question of my boredom. It's a question of my having seen it 4 or 5 times, however many times I've seen it.
Well, he was also playing out that scene by Marlon Brando.
Oh yeah,
that was great. Looking at himself in the mirror, like you said, but that was great. Just watching him.
Yeah, Well, and that has so many layers to it, that scene. I mean, because De Niro worked with Brando in The Godfather. He played Brando in The Godfather as a young man.
Right.
He was thought of by the critics who looking for an easy headline. He's the next Marlon Brando. He's changing the way, and he has, I think, and did change the way people think of acting because of his commitment and his total involvement, his total commitment to gain all that weight. And I kept trying to figure out, how did they shoot this? Because he's fat at the beginning, and then he's incredibly beautiful as a young man, as a young boxer, and then he gets a little heavy, and then he has to lose weight for the Cerdan fight, and then he gets heavy again. They don't shoot it obviously in sequence. They must shoot it around his weight gaining ability.
Yeah, because he was jumping in the pool in whitey tighties and looking fit as a fiddle.
Oh boy, he looks almost as good then as he does. Have you seen the other Scorsese movie with him, Cape Fear?
Yeah, he was in great shape.
He's unbelievably ripped in Cape Fear, and it's all him. I don't think there's any CGI stuff going on there at all. Anyway, Molly, we cut you off.
Oh,
are you done thinking?
No, she gave it a 3. It's your turn.
I gave it a 3.
It's my turn. Well, I give it a 5 just because I think it's really one of the great movies of all time and should be watched. But it does. It's not. I don't qualify it. I just think you want to watch it carefully because of the level of misogyny in it, because of the level of brutality, of human brutality, because of the level of narcissism of Jake LaMotta, and I don't think we want to keep celebrating that.
No,
I want to stop celebrating bad people.
It's a cautionary tale.
Yeah, if you watch it as a cautionary tale, like the way Tom will show it to his niece, don't do that. Then, but we do need to see that. We do need to watch it. So I'll give it a 5 because I think it's brilliantly. He's a brilliant filmmaker, and he's made some fun family movies. Like, what's the one that takes place in the railroad station in Paris? Not Oscar, is it? What's it called? Who's got a computer in front of him? It's with Sacha Baron Cohen is in it, and this wonderful little kid. Wow. It all takes place in the train station, and it's 3D. And Scorsese, everybody was making 3D. James Cameron was making 3D movies, so he made this 3D movie, but there wasn't one fist coming at you. There wasn't any brutality or any violence in it. There is the threat of violence, and it's about the making of movies. It's the first guy. What is that movie? Tom, do you see it?
No, because I scrolled about 60 movies and I'm down to 2016 only.
Oh yeah.
He's done everything.
I just wanted to say, Vicky LaMotta, when she said that boxer he was going to fight was a good-looking guy.
Hugo.
Oh my God, Hugo. Okay,
Hugo. That's it. Hugo. I knew it was when it was a name. The name of the kid is Hugo. Hugo.
Okay.
Yeah, I recommend it. I don't think we should watch it. We could watch it and talk about it if we want to do another Scorsese movie, a different one. But
yeah, we saw it in the theater.
Yeah.
That's where that movie needed to be seen. Yeah.
It's what were you saying, William?
Y'all, it was nice seeing you guys. I'll pick the movie. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
All right. Later, we'll let you know what the movie is next time.
All right. Thank you.
So what should we do next time?
What's going to piss Will off the worst?
Oh, yeah. He left before. Yeah.
Well, what do you think, Mark? What's a good one?
I don't know. I'd like to watch something. I feel a little hokey because I'm tired of watching movies about bad people, and I want to see a movie about good people.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the movie? Could I pick?
Yeah.
I love the movie Big Fish so much.
Tim Burton, right?
Yes. And
I would watch that and talk about it because I didn't like it when I first saw it.
That is like one of my top 5 movies.
Really?
I really love Big Fish.
Let's watch it. You can educate us on it. Molly,
Okay.
is that all right with you?
That's fine. I think I've only
What?
watched it once. I remember it being real, like, kind of convoluted and
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
but interesting.
it's very. Have you watched what's Guillermo del Toro's new movie that's nominated for Academy Awards? Nightmare Alley. I think it's nominated. It should be. It's really good.
Yep.
Nightmare Alley. It's available on Prime, I think. Big Fish
think
reminds
so.
me a little of that because it starts out. The whole beginning of Nightmare Alley starts out. The whole first hour of it is in a carnival, and isn't
cool.
Big Fish about a carnival?
Yeah, there's carnival in it.
Yeah, you should.
don't think it's
Let's
a-
watch Big Fish.
Big Fish.
Okay.
Oh,
What?
Kate Blanchett too. I was just talking about her beauty in a movie last night. Oh, it
Say
was.
that-
Yeah, Kate Blanchett is in Nightmare Alley,
Blanchett is in Nightmare Alley, exactly.
and she was in what we were just talking about. Don't Look Up.
Yes, she's in Don't Look Up. She plays the newscaster in Don't Look Up. She's great. It's a great performance on her part too. I
Yeah,
think.
she looked great too.
She's great.
Everybody's good in Don't Look Up. All right, so that's
All
right.
right.
Big Fish, 2 weeks.
All
Yeah.
right. Thank you very
See you
much,
then.
Mark.